Let's take a closer look at the Micro Galaxy Squadron Luke Skywalker's X-Wing hologram chase variant.
Varykino, living the Star Wars life.
Hello there, and thanks for visiting the Varykino YouTube channel. I'm really excited about today's unboxing. As we can see, we have a shiny blue X-Wing from the Micro Galaxy Squadron line by Jazware. This is Luke Skywalker's X-Wing hologram, and as you can see, there is a gold foil sticker, which indicates that this is a rare chase variant, one of 5,000 made. So I'm so very excited to have this one for my collection. I can't wait to open it up and take a closer look at this amazing blue plastic. So our local stockists here in New Zealand didn't bring in any of the Micro Galaxy Squadron line after Series 2. We thought we were going to have to catch up by importing them from overseas. Then just the other day we were checking out our local Black Series and TVC figures, and there was a massive range of the purple stickered Series 5 range, and we couldn't believe our eyes. We grabbed as many as we could because we are just so excited to have these available in New Zealand again, and we couldn't believe that we actually found a chase as well. So if you are a fan of the Micro Galaxy Squadron line, do subscribe if you want to see more of the unboxings that we have coming up very shortly from the Series 5 assortment that we got. I'm super excited about that B-Wing as well. But first we have to take a closer look at the chase. Before I open it up, I'm just going to take a closer look at the packaging because these are bubble cards. They don't really sort of go back in their box once you've opened them. So of course we have this shiny silver stripe here. It's a little bit hard to read. It says Luke Skywalker's X-Wing hologram. We can see this is number 0114. We're quite deep in the range by now with that Series 5. You can see that printed in purple there on the side. This figure is Luke Skywalker, and we have a tiny little R2-D2 here, also rendered in that translucent blue plastic to match the hologram starship. I'm going to take a closer look and see how well these figures fit inside. As indicated here, we should be able to fit the figure in the cockpit, and there's a little spot for R2-D2 there in the back as well. Fun bright bubble there with some fun X-Wings and TIE Fighters on the backing card art there. I like being able to take the bubble up and see that cool artwork there behind it. We've got that amazing cool gold foil sticker there, one of 5,000 chase. So very exciting. Pretty standard stuff there on the bottom, nice windows here on the side, and now we can take a closer look at the back. So we've got an image here of the X-Wing. It looks like we've got some moving parts like landing gear. We should be able to sort of pop R2 and move the wings. Very exciting. If you don't like to keep the whole backing card, they provide a tiny little collectible blueprint that you can cut out and keep in kind of a trading card size, which is fun. And we can see some of the other vehicles from this line. We have Poe's X-Wing, we have a Special Forces TIE Fighter, we have the B-Wing, and we have another chase vehicle here. Still on the hunt for this one. I haven't found this one yet, so fingers crossed. But yeah, so exciting. This is of course from the Starfighter class there, and we can see it says Luke Skywalker's X-Wing hologram. And they've even got a little bit of a hologram projection there on the image. So yeah, super exciting. I love the blue. I can see why some people might keep this one boxed because it does look really pretty in this big, nicely lit bubble there, but I definitely want to get this one out and take a closer look. So let's get stuck in and open it up. So now I have the X-Wing and the figures unboxed. They look really cool, so we can take a closer look. I'm going to start with the figures first. I like the little plastic tray that they come in. I usually like to display my figures inside the vehicle, but some of them are quite opaque and they kind of completely disappear inside. So if you prefer, you can put them next to your starship and they're less likely to disappear off your shelf because this is harder to lose, and it's just a nice way to keep them together so you know which ones went with your ship. We can see that we have a little title plaque here, Luke Skywalker and R2-D2, and on the back there is a little image of the figures where you can see all of that sculpting detail. So usually these figures are painted because this is a hologram. They are in the same translucent blue plastic as the starship. So let's pop them out so we can take a closer look. There we go. So R2-D2 first. He's got some really cute little sculpted details. It's so tiny, it's hard to see. Hopefully the light will pick it up. So he doesn't have any sort of movement. His head doesn't move, his legs don't move. He's got a little peg hole on the underside because there is a peg in the X-Wing port there so that he sort of fits in there snugly and he's not rattling around. So he's really cute. He translates really well into this blue plastic. So next up we have Luke Skywalker. And he is in his X-Wing pilot outfit to match his starship here. He has his helmet on and his flight suit. His head doesn't move, but his arms do come up and his legs. So we can put him into a sort of cockpit position there. So I'm going to test inserting both of those figures into their respective spots on the X-Wing later. But now, for now, I really want to take a closer look at this starship. So this blue plastic just looks amazing under these lights. It just looks really cool. I know it's a little bit different. It might not be to everyone's taste, but I think that that's the fun way to do a chase, you know, make it a little bit harder to find, a little bit different, but you're still not restricting the collectors from adding the classic X-Wing to their collection. We can see that we can it's darker here where we've got lots of detailed parts and sort of all assembled here, and then where it starts to get a little less detailed, it makes a lighter blue here, which is kind of fun. And we can actually see all the way through in the cockpit. I can actually see that assortment number through the top there. We can just make it out through that clear port window there, which is kind of fun. So there are some points of movement on this, and of course this is not painted, so there's not really anything to say about the paint jobs. Some of the Micro Galaxy Squadron line have, you know, classic paint jobs, and some come weathered, and I do find that the weathering can vary, you know, a fair bit from ship to ship, but we don't have any of that to worry about here. So if you see one on a shelf, you can just grab it because it is unpainted. It's just made in that native blue plastic there, which is kind of fun. I can see some of the construction points. We can see that there are 3 screws on the underside. You can kind of see a little bit from the top because of course this is clear, but on the whole it doesn't actually look too bad. You know, I can see some of the components, but it kind of just gives an interesting sort of internal engine look to it, which I think is really fun. And there's so much sculpted detail. Of course, this is pretty much the same sculpt as a classic X-Wing, and I do look forward to being able to do a bit of a direct comparison in a later video, seeing them side by side. But yeah, so I'm just taking a closer look at the details on this one specifically. So let's take a look at some of the points of movement as were indicated on the box. It looks kind of funny just sitting here on the desk, so let's take a closer look at the landing gear. So if I hold it upside down, I can kind of see there's these little pointed parts sticking up. You can see this one here and this one over here. So let's go and see how well. Okay, so that one just flicks up when I get my fingernail underneath it. Oh, and it snaps into place. Let's take a closer look at the other ones. Okay, and third one. That one's a little bit stiffer, but that wasn't too hard. So now we've got the 3 landing gear, and now it looks a little bit better when it's sitting on sort of landed mode. Now it's not sort of nose down there. That looks really nice. It's nice and level with the desk there with that high, nice landing gear in the front. So let's test out the wings here. Okay, they don't sort of click into place or anything like that, but that's really easy to move. And they just kind of sit like that. It does move the landing gear in a bit, but of course we wouldn't have this landed with the wings open. So it does kind of get, perhaps you can see a little bit here, they're kind of a little bit pointing inward. So when I put them on the desk, it's just a little bit sort of pinched in, but it's not too bad. I can still display it like that, you know, even though X-Wings don't have their wings fully open there when they're landed, but it does look cool. I do still kind of wish this had like a clearer stand so we can display them in flight mode. You know, I guess we've got to get out the nylon string fishing line there to sort of suspend it in like a hanging position if we really want to. But I like that that is nice and easy to do. But yes, it does sit a little bit neater when you've got those wings closed there, the landing gear, because they're right underneath the engines there do sort of move when the wings move. So the third point of movement, we're going to open up the cockpit here. There's a little ridge. See how hard this is to get my fingernail in there? This one's a bit stiffer actually. Let's see. Come on. Oh, no. Oh, there we go. Okay, finally. There. That was quite rough on my fingernails there. Okay, that was a bit of a tougher one. Yeah, so there we go. We've got the cockpit opening. And that was quite stiff. So I guess now's the time to test the Luke figure inside. It goes all the way up, which is kind of nice. Okay, so let's get Luke into his little sitting position here. Because this is so clear, there we go. He just sits right in there. And I know it's a little bit hard to see because he's now kind of a little bit blending in with the background. He's not orange against the classic X-Wing, but he looks really cool in there. And if we close that cockpit, I'm not going to click it all the way down because I'm going to get him stuck again. Yeah, that looks really cool. We can see him quite well through that window there. Again, he's getting a little bit lost in the details, but I do think it just looks really cool in person. Hopefully it's showing up a little bit better. You can see that figure on the inside. So let's test out R2-D2. So there is a small peg in here. You can just kind of see it there. So hopefully he's not going to be too hard to sit in here. Okay. And he fits in there nicely, you can see. And because of that peg, he doesn't come out, which is nice. So you're less likely to lose him while he's on display. Because most of the other figures fit inside a cockpit. Once you click that door closed, like this one, it's not going to absolutely fly open and lose your little figure. So it's nice that the astromech fits in there quite snugly. Yeah, now it looks complete. I do wish they came with clear stands because, I don't know, X-Wings just look a little bit cooler to me with that flight mode pose. I know that I can still do it on a desk. It just looks just a little bit cooler. It would be fun if it was on like a stand so I could kind of get a little bit of flight movement there. I know there are some really cool fan-made stands out there nowadays because this is such a popular and ever-growing line. But yeah, oh, this blue plastic is the coolest. It immediately caught my eye on the store shelf. It's sort of that big open clear window packaging really makes it well lit. So if you do prefer to keep your chases in particular boxed, that is a fun option. But I think this just looks so cool, you know, with the figures in place, and I can pose it alongside my other Micro Galaxy Squadron vehicles. I have to take some close-up photos because I'm not sure that it shows up so well on video because there's just so much detail to this, but it's kind of getting a little bit lost because you can kind of see through the plastic to some of the inner details as well. So yeah, and we've got like the engines in the back. You can see the detail sculpting there. Trying to catch it in the light to really show off all the details. And I was surprised with how sturdy these feel because this is a different plastic. I was wondering sort of how these might feel. They feel all very sturdy and very straight. They're a little bit pointed together, but the actual pieces there are very straight, which I like. You know, they don't feel like a bendy plastic. You can sort of flex them a little bit, but I don't think they're gonna soften over time. Oh, just looks so cool. There we go. Yeah, that's so cool. I'm really, really happy with this one. A little bit of a stiff cockpit, but I generally don't, you know, these aren't playing toys quite so much. I'm sure most collectors will put these on their shelf and not really open and close the cockpits a lot. So at least I could get him in there for display. And if I just, yeah, that's a really sort of snug closing there. Yeah, there we have it. That is the 1 of 5,000 chase variant Luke Skywalker's X-Wing hologram vehicle from the Micro Galaxies Squadron line by Jazware. Let me know in the comments down below if this one's on your hunting list or whether you've been fortunate enough to be able to pick this one up for your collection already. I'm so very happy that we were able to find one in the wild in our local store, because they're definitely a little bit harder to find on the secondary market compared to the standard starships. There, that was really cool. I'm really happy to have this one in my collection. Thank you so much for watching. And as I mentioned earlier, do subscribe if you want to see some of the other Series 5 unboxings that we'll have on the channel very shortly. Thank you so much for watching. Catch you in the next video, and as always, may the Force be with you.
If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a like, check out our other videos, and subscribe for alerts about new uploads. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.